Hey gang, Larry Vickers here, Vickers Tactical Incorporated, here on behalf of CCW Safe and FTA, Firearms Trainers Association. I'm going to take you through just my thoughts on some random handguns I have here. I brought three particular handguns for this video, all in 9mm, because frankly, for self-defense purposes, I've kind of turned into a 9mm guy. The reality of it is a variety of calibers will work, 9mm, 40, 45, 357 SIG. There's a lot of merit in picking 9mm. There's a lot of pistols available in 9mm. There's a wide variety of quality handguns available in 9mm. Practice ammo is cheap. There's a lot of effective self-defensive ammo in 9mm. It's kind of like, it's all boiled down to that particular caliber, especially since we've now had a lot of people shot in the United States with handguns, and we can correlate a lot of data. And really in the real world, whether you shoot somebody with 9mm, 40 or 45, there's not a lot of difference. That being the case, you might as well use the caliber that has a wide variety of handguns available in it, holds more bullets, more affordable, and for the average shooter, easier to get hits, and that means 9mm. I'm going to start off here with a Glock 19. This particular one's a Glock 19X, and regardless of the type of Glock you use, you need to have a Glock 19 in your pile. I don't care if you own 10 guns or 1,000 guns, you're never going to regret owning a Glock 19. It's the perfect size for a variety of tasks, including concealed carry. Now the Glock 19X, Glock 19 top, Glock 17 bottom, a little bit easier to control for a lot of people, but also for a lot of people less easy to conceal, so you need to take that into account. On a Glock, without a doubt, you got to have good sights. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, that's the most important factor. And it needs to be a sight that you can see. This particular one has my Wilson Combat Vickers Tactical rear sight, plain black, and has an Ameriglow HD front sight in yellow-green. It's also available in orange and red with a tritium insert. It needs to be a front sight or a set of sights that you can see in a wide variety of lighting conditions. Assume that you're going to be using the pistol for defensive purposes in low light. That needs to be an assumption that you make, kind of a worst case scenario. That being the case, it needs to be a sight that's going to jump out for you and allow you to see it in low light. Therefore, I like the HD style sights that Ameriglow and Trijicon sell. Like I said, you need to have a Glock 19 in your pile regardless of the amount of pistols you have. This is a great general purpose handgun. Next up, 1911. The 1911, of course, the most famous handgun in American history, and it's a pistol that a lot of people gravitate towards after they've kind of cut their teeth with other pistols. So I want to bring up some pointers. 1911s in this day and age, number one, very inherently accurate. Number two, generally have excellent trigger pulls, all right? But a couple things about it. You get what you pay for in a 1911. If you go cheap, generally my experience is it's going to come back to haunt you. If you're looking at a 1911 and it's under $1,000 for a brand new gun, that's kind of an alarm to me. You need to be looking at guns like Colts and Springfield, somewhere around that $1,000 range. When you bump it up, look at Dan Wesson, $1,500 to $2,000 for the quality. They're good pistols. And if you go beyond that, my first choice, of course, is Wilson Combat. 1911 is over a 100-year design. There's certain features of it where parts have to be hand-fitted. That's just the nature of a weapon that was designed over a century ago. Also, one thing that can get people in trouble is the thumb safety. When you come from something like a Glock that does not have an external manual safety like the 1911, it can get you in trouble until you master manipulation of the thumb safety. All right, this particular one's in 9mm, same caliber across the board with all three handguns. And now we have 9mm 1911s that work better than ever before, mainly because there's better quality 9mm magazines on the market. So what I would tell you is cut your teeth on something like the Glock 19. After you get into shooting handguns for a while, if you want to check out 1911s, by all means, go to that local indoor range that has some that you can rent and try and see what you think. Generally, you're going to like the accuracy, you're going to like the slimmer feel of a 1911, and you're going to like the trigger. But remember, the gun was designed over 100 years ago. You can't treat it like you do a Glock. It doesn't work. You got to kind of raise your game to be able to run one of these. All right, now, next up, a lot of times people are looking for something on a budget. Hey, I don't have the money to buy a Wilson Combat. I don't have the money to buy a Glock. What do I look for? I tell you what you do is educate yourself. Take some time to really dig into what you need to be looking for and look for some surplus handguns on the market that are actually excellent quality for the price. Perfect example right here, Sig Sauer, West German made Sig Sauer P6, or the West German police version of the Sig Sauer P225. Now it's a single stack 9mm, 8-round magazine, one in the chamber is 9, but these are fairly readily available at an excellent price and they're superb handguns. It's a double action, single action pistol, so it makes a lot of sense if you're going to carry it something like a fanny pack or a bag or a purse or whatnot where it's not going to be in a conventional holster. Those are not good solutions for guns like 1911s or particularly guns like Glocks. That's where a double action, single action pistol like this P225 comes into play. What that means is the first trigger pull is a long double action trigger pull, and after the gun's fired, now it's single action, the hammer's cocked. All right, this is a safer mode to carry the weapon in something like a fanny pack or a purse. And if you're looking for a gun on a budget, something like this, the P6, Sig Sauer, great choice. You got to educate yourself. You can't just go into a gun shop and buy the cheapest used handgun, because in many cases that's going to come back to haunt you. Remember, you don't want to be buying a surplus handgun to trust your life on if you have any doubts about the manufacturing quality of that particular pistol. This was just an overview of 3 handguns. One's out of my particular pile that I use on a regular basis. Glock 19, Glock 19X, 1911, this particular one's from Wilson Combat, and Sig Sauer P225, all in 9mm. Use this video as a guideline to go out to that local indoor range, try a few handguns, and see what makes sense for you. Hope that you enjoyed it. Have a good one. LAV out.